3 days into their journey through Azari space, Tactical Officer Sunwoo Lee's screen lit up with a warning. "Captain, we have a problem," Sunwoo said, her voice tight with worry. "Sensors are picking up a distress signal from a small passenger ship. It looks like it's under attack by Azari raiders." Taeyong's jaw tightened. "Show me." The main screen showed a small civilian ship, clearly built by humans, surrounded by 3 dangerous-looking Azari vessels. The civilian ship's engines were damaged and it had no way to escape. "Sir," Communications Officer Do-Hyun Kang broke in. "I'm listening to their communications. The passenger ship is carrying families from New Busan Colony. They're running away after the recent earthquake. The Azari are telling them to surrender for processing." Everyone on the bridge knew what processing meant when the Azari said it. Forced labor if they were lucky, cruel experiments if they weren't. "We can't step in without showing who we really are," First Officer Ji Yoon said quietly. "The mission—" Taeyong stared at the screen, watching as the Azari ships fired warning shots near the refugee ship. 87 lives against the millions that could be saved by the information they were gathering. "How long until the nearest UEF patrol could help them?" he asked. "At least 7 hours, sir," Ji-yeon answered. "Those people don't have 7 hours. Taeyong made his choice. "Battle stations. Get ready to remove our disguise, but keep enough of the transport look to surprise them. We'll try to solve this without completely ruining our mission." As alarms sounded through the ship, crew members ran to their combat positions. Under the fake hull plating, weapon systems silently charged. "Open a channel to the Azari ships," Taeyong ordered. "Channel open, sir," confirmed Do-Hyun. "Attention Azari vessels. This is Captain Taeyong Kim of the United Earth Fleet. You are breaking the Galactic Concord by attacking a civilian ship. Stop now." The response was what he expected. Laughter. The largest Azari ship answered, its commander's reptile-like face filling the screen. "A transport dares to threaten us? Your bravery is funny, human, but stupid. Leave now and we might let you live." Taeyong smiled slightly. "I'm afraid I must insist." He cut the transmission and turned to his tactical officer. "Sunwoo, aim for their weapon systems only. Use minimal force." "Yes, sir," she responded, fingers flying over her controls. With amazing precision, panels across the Dauntless slid open, showing state-of-the-art weapon ports. The ship's energy signature changed dramatically as power moved from the holographic projectors maintaining their disguise to the previously hidden weapons systems. Before the Azari ships could react, the Dauntless fired. Focused pulse beams hit the lead Azari vessel with surgical precision, disabling its main weapon arrays without breaking through the hull. "They're powering up their remaining weapons," Sunwoo reported. "Show them we're serious," Taeyong ordered. This time, the Dauntless fired a full spread from its side batteries. The second Azari ship spun wildly as its engines were damaged. On the screen, the Azari commander's expression had changed from disrespect to shock. "What kind of trick is this? You are no transport." "No," Taeyong agreed. "We're not. Final warning, leave now." The third Azari ship, instead of listening to the warning, charged forward. "All weapons firing, they've fired on us." "Captain," Ji-yeon reported calmly. "Return fire. Full defensive measures," Taeyong commanded. What happened next was nothing short of spectacular. The Dauntless dropped the last of its disguise as it performed a move impossible for any actual transport vessel. Thrusters that had been hidden under false plating pushed the ship in a tight evasive pattern while its main cannons, technology that humanity had kept secret for exactly this type of situation, opened. Fire, the result was devastating. The attacking Azari vessel shook under the impact, its shields failing in seconds before critical systems failed throughout the ship. "Target neutralized," Sunwoo announced. "The other 2 vessels are running away." Taeyong nodded grimly. "Secure the civilian ship and prepare for emergency docking. Our cover's blown, but we have people to save." The refugee ship, New Hope, carried 87 civilians, mostly families with young children. As they were brought aboard the Dauntless, their faces showed a mixture of relief and confusion. "You're a warship," one of the refugee leaders, a gray-haired man named Junho, said as Taeyong greeted them in the docking bay. "But you look like a transport from the outside." "That's the idea," Taeyong replied with a small smile. "I'm afraid I can't tell you more. You'll be safe in our guest quarters until we can get you to the nearest human outpost." As the refugees were led away by the ship's medical team, Taeyong turned to his first officer. How bad is our situation? Jiyeon didn't try to hide her concern. Our disguise is compromised. The Azari now know we have military-grade weapons and advanced shielding. It won't take them long to realize we're a spy ship. Then we need to move fast, Taeyong decided. How close are we to the main fleet gathering? About 6 hours at current speed. Push the engines to maximum. I want to get as much data as possible before the Azari realize what happened here and sound a general alarm. The Dauntless raced deeper into Azari space, its true nature now partially revealed. They no longer maintained the pretense of being a simple transport. That cover was blown. Instead, they relied on speed and the element of surprise. The Azari they had encountered knew they weren't what they seemed, but it would take time for that information to spread. In the ship's briefing room, Taeyong met with his senior officers. The mission has changed, he told them bluntly. We're now operating in hostile territory with a partially compromised disguise. But our objective remains the same. Gather intelligence on the Azari fleet movements. Security Chief Min-jae Hwang brought up a tactical display. Based on the patrol patterns we've observed so far, I believe the main Azari fleet is gathering here. He pointed to a large space station near the center of the sector. Our scans indicate heavy ship traffic and unusual communications activity in this area. The Dominator, Taeyong said, recognizing the massive Azari command station. Fleet intelligence has been trying to get detailed scans of that station for years. This may be our only chance, Engineer Yuna Choi pointed out. Once word of our true nature spreads, the Azari will lock down their entire territory. Taeyong studied the display. Navigator, can you plot a course that will bring us close enough to the station for detailed scans without being immediately detected? Hyunjin nodded. There's a dense asteroid field here. She pointed to an area near the station. If we approach from this vector, using the asteroids for cover, we might get within scanning range before they detect us. Do it, Taeyong ordered. Tactical, I want all passive sensors at maximum sensitivity. Record everything, ship classifications, numbers, weapon types, communications frequencies. What about the refugees, sir? Jiyeon asked. They're civilians. They shouldn't be put at risk. Taeyong had already considered this problem. We'll detour to drop them at the Gamma 6 outpost. It will cost us time, but I won't put civilians in danger. He checked the ship's chronometer. We have 18 hours before the Azari command structure likely realizes what happened with their patrol ships. Let's make them count. The Dauntless adjusted course, first heading toward the small human outpost that sat just inside Azari territory. The outpost was officially a scientific research station, permitted under the Uneasy Peace Treaty between humans and the Azari. Unofficially, it also served as a listening post and emergency evacuation point. As they approached the outpost, Communications Officer Do-Yoon frowned at his console. Captain, I'm picking up unusual communications activity around the outpost. The patterns don't match known Azari or human protocols. Put it on speaker, Taeyong ordered. The bridge filled with strange, clicking sounds interspersed with bursts of static. Engineer Yuna's eyes widened. That's a quantum encryption pattern, very advanced. The Azari shouldn't have technology like that yet. Could it be another species? Jiyeon suggested. Taeyong shook his head. Not in this sector. The Azari don't share their territory. He turned to Do-Hyun. Can you get a visual on the outpost? Attempting long-range scan now, sir. The main screen flickered, showing a grainy image of the small outpost. It should have been a simple collection of habitat modules and research labs. Instead, they saw a scene of destruction. Parts of the station were damaged and several Azari ships surrounded it. Life signs? Taeyong asked, dreading the answer. Sunwoo checked her sensors. Faint human life signs inside the central module. Approximately 20 individuals and... She paused, rechecking her readings. Over 50 Azari life forms throughout the station. They've taken the outpost, Min-jae stated the obvious. This wasn't in any of our intelligence briefings. Because it just happened, Taeyong realized. Look at the debris pattern. The attack was recent, within the last 12 hours. Jiyeon looked grim. We can't take the refugees there now. No, Taeyong agreed. And we can't leave our people in Azari hands. He stood straighter, decision made. New mission parameters. We will rescue the outpost personnel and our refugees. Sir, Min-jae cautioned, that's a significant Azari force. Even with our advanced systems, a direct assault would be risky. Who said anything about direct? Taeyong asked with a grim smile. The Azari think they know our capabilities now. Captain Taeyong Kim stood on the bridge of his ship, the Dauntless. From the outside, anyone looking at the ship would see only a normal transport vessel. It looked big, plain, and had visible cargo boxes attached to it. No one would think it was dangerous. Tell me how we are doing, Taeyong said in a calm voice, even though everyone felt nervous. Lieutenant Jiwoo Park looked up from her screen. Our hidden systems are working perfectly, Captain. Our sensors don't see anything unusual out there. To anyone watching us, we look exactly like what our fake ID says we are, a Class 3. Transport carrying food and supplies to Proxima Colony. What no alien could see with their scans was that under the fake outer shell and false cargo signals was one of humanity's most advanced warships. The Dauntless was the first of the new Phantom-class ships, made just for this mission, to travel through Azari space without being noticed and gather information about their fleet movements. The Azari had been growing more powerful for many years. They took over smaller civilizations and stole resources from the worlds they conquered. Humans had kept an uneasy peace so far, but information suggested the Azari were getting ready for something big, possibly an attack on human worlds. We will enter Azari territory in 5 minutes. Captain, said Navigator Hyunjin. Cho Taeyong nodded. Keep our course and speed the same. Remember, we're just a boring transport making a regular delivery. Nothing special to see here. The Azari didn't know that this transport carried enough weapons to destroy a small fleet of ships. But if everything went as planned, they would never find out, at least not until it was too late. Taeyong walked to the large window at the front of the bridge. Space stretched out before him, vast and dark. Tiny pinpricks of starlight dotted the blackness. Somewhere out there, the Azari watched. They controlled this sector of space, and they didn't like visitors. Are you worried, Captain? First Officer Jeon-yoon asked quietly, coming to stand beside him. Only about the mission, Taeyong replied. If we succeed, we might prevent a war. If we fail, Jeon nodded, then war becomes much more likely. Taeyong turned to face his crew. 20 of the best officers in the United Earth Fleet worked on this bridge. They all knew the risks when they volunteered for this mission. Many had lost family or friends to Azari raids on the outer colonies. Engineering report, Taeyong called. Engineer Yuna Choi's voice came through the speaker. All systems green, Captain. Our real engines are running at 30%, which matches what a transport of this size would use. Weapon systems are in standby mode but can be ready in 15 seconds if needed. Good, keep it that way. Taeyong returned to his command chair. Tactical, run one more check on our disguise systems. Tactical Officer Sun Woo Lee tapped at her console. Disguise is holding perfectly, sir. External sensors show only what we want them to see. Heat signature, power readings, and visual appearance all match a standard UEF transport vessel. Taeyong nodded. The plan was simple but dangerous. They would cross through Azari space, pretending to be a harmless transport on a routine supply run. Their real mission was to gather data on Azari fleet movements and military installations. If all went well, they would slip back out the same way they came in, and the Azari would never know they had been watched. The ship's computer beeped softly. Entering Azari territorial boundary, announced Navigator Hyunjin. A tense silence fell over the bridge. They had trained for months for this moment, but now that it was here, everyone felt the weight of their mission. No change in sensor readings, Security Chief Min Jae Hwang reported after a moment. No patrol ships in the area. Looks like we've entered their space without being noticed. A few crew members let out quiet sighs of relief, but Taeyong knew better than to relax. Stay alert. We're just beginning. Communications, any chatter on Azari frequencies? Communications Officer Do-hyun Kang listened through his earpiece. Normal traffic, Captain. Mostly routine communications between their outposts. Nothing about us. Good. Let's keep it that way. Taeyong studied the star map on the main screen. Their course would take them through 3 Azari sectors over the next 5 days. Intelligence suggested the main Azari fleet was gathering in the 3rd sector, near a large space station they called the Dominator. Captain, Jeon said quietly, should we review the contingency plans, in case we're discovered? Taeyong nodded. Tactical meeting in 1 hour. Senior officers only. The Dauntless continued its journey, engines humming softly as it moved deeper into enemy territory. From the outside, it looked completely harmless. just another transport ship on a routine mission. But inside, the crew watched and waited, gathering data with every passing minute. 3 hours into Azari space, they passed their first patrol. 2 sleek Azari ships moved alongside them, their insect-like design making them look like predatory bugs among the stars. "They're scanning us," Sunwoo reported, tension in her voice. "Maintain course and speed," Taeyong ordered. "Everyone act normal." Communications Officer Doyun turned in his seat. "They're hailing us, Captain." Taeyong straightened his uniform. On screen, the main view screen flickered and an Azari face appeared. The alien had a hard exoskeleton covering its head, with compound eyes that glittered like black gems. Its mandibles clicked together as it spoke. The ship's computer translating the sounds into human language. "Human transport vessel. Identify yourself and state your purpose in hegemony space." Taeyong put on his best bored expression. "This is Captain Taeyong Kim of the transport vessel Northern Star. We're carrying agricultural supplies to Proxima Colony. We have permission to cross through your territory." He nodded to Dohyun, who transmitted the fake transit documents they had prepared. The Azari seemed to study something off-screen, then turned its compound eyes back toward them. "Your documents appear to be in order. Maintain your current course. Any deviation will be considered hostile action." "Understood," Taeyong replied. "We're just passing through." The screen went black as the Azari cut the transmission. "They're moving away," Sunwoo reported, returning to their patrol route. A collective exhale seemed to pass through the bridge. "That went well," Jian said. "Too well," Taeyong replied. "They barely checked our documents. Keep alert." As the Azari patrol disappeared from their sensors, life on the Dauntless settled into a routine. The ship maintained its disguise as it traveled deeper into Azari space. Every sensor on the ship recorded valuable data: the positions of Azari outposts, the patterns of their patrols, and communications frequencies. By the end of the first day, they had mapped more of the Azari defense network than all previous intelligence missions combined. During the night shift, when most of the crew rested, Taeyong sat alone in his quarters, reviewing the data they had gathered. The Azari defenses were impressive but not impenetrable. Their patrol routes had gaps. Their outposts were well armed but spaced too far apart. If war came, humanity would have a fighting chance. A soft knock at his door interrupted his thoughts. "Enter," he called. First Officer Jiyeon stepped into the room. "You should get some rest, Captain. We have 4 more days in Azari space." "I will. Soon." He gestured to the star map displayed above his desk. "Have you noticed their patrol patterns?" Jiyeon studied the map. "They're protecting something in the 3rd sector. Their patrols are much heavier there." "Exactly. Whatever the Azari are planning, the answer lies in that sector." "We'll reach it tomorrow evening," Jiyeon reminded him. "And that's when the real danger begins." Taeyong closed the star map.
"Have Engineer Choi check our disguise systems again before morning."
"I don't want any surprises." The next day passed without incident. The Dauntless encountered 2 more Azari patrols, but neither paid them much attention. A transport carrying supplies wasn't worth their time, or so they thought. As they approached the border of the 3rd sector, Taeyong called his senior officers together on the bridge. "We're about to enter the most heavily guarded area of Azari space," he told them. "Based on the patrol patterns we've observed, I believe they're gathering a large fleet here. Our mission is to confirm this and gather as much data as possible without being detected." He turned to Tactical Officer Sunwoo. "From this point on, I want passive scans only. Nothing that could give us away." "Yes, Captain," she replied. "Navigator, plot a course that keeps us at maximum distance from any Azari ships or installations, while still allowing our sensors to gather data." Hyunjin nodded. "Already working on it, sir. Communications continue monitoring all Azari frequencies. Any mention of fleet movements or military operations I want to know immediately." Doyun tapped his console. "I've identified several encrypted channels. Working on breaking their codes now." "Good." Taeyong looked at each of his officers in turn. "We've come farther than anyone expected. 1 more day of observation, then we head home with information that could save countless lives." Little did he know that their mission was about to take an unexpected turn, one that would force them to reveal what their ship truly was. Taeyong stood on the bridge watching the main screen with tense focus. The stealth shuttle carrying Minjae and his team had reached the outpost 10 minutes ago. Now they waited for news. Any communication from the rescue team? Taeyong asked. Do-hyun shook his head. Nothing yet, sir. They're maintaining radio silence as planned. And the Azari ships? Still in standard patrol formation around the outpost, Sunwoo reported. No indication they've detected anything unusual. Minutes ticked by slowly. The bridge crew tried to focus on their duties, but everyone's thoughts were with the rescue team. Finally, Do-hyun straightened in his seat. Incoming transmission from the stealth shuttle, sir. Text only. On screen, Taeyong ordered. A simple message appeared. 23 survivors secured. Heavy Azari presence. Evacuating now. We'll need medical support. Taeyong nodded, relieved. Tell medical to prepare for wounded. How long until they return? Estimated 17 minutes at current speed, Hyunjin answered. Sir, Sunwoo broke in urgently. Azari ships are changing formation. They're moving toward the docking area of the outpost. Taeyong's relief vanished. They've detected the shuttle? I don't think so. Sunwoo studied her readings. Their movements seem routine, not alert status. But if they maintain this new pattern, they'll be directly in the shuttle's exit path. Taeyong made a quick decision. We need to draw their attention away from the shuttle's escape route. Tactical. Prepare a missile launch. Low yield, targeting the asteroid field 2 kilometers from the outpost. Sir? Jian questioned. We're going to create a distraction, First Officer. Make the Azari look the other way. He turned to communications. Do-hyun, send a coded message to the shuttle. Tell them to hold position until our signal, then make a break for it. Message sent, sir. Launching missile in 5 seconds, Sunwoo announced. Target locked. The Dauntless shuddered slightly as a single missile launched from its forward bay, streaking toward the distant asteroid field. Missile away, Sunwoo confirmed. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a bright flash lit up the screen as the missile struck its target, destroying a mid-sized asteroid and sending debris flying in all directions. Azari ships responding, Sunwoo reported with satisfaction. They're changing course to investigate the explosion. Send the signal to the shuttle, Taeyong ordered. Tell them to go now. On the tactical display, they watched as the small stealth shuttle broke away from the outpost, using the confusion to slip past the distracted Azari vessels. Shuttle is clear of the outpost, Sunwoo confirmed. Estimated arrival in 12 minutes. Taeyong allowed himself a small smile. Well done, everyone. But we're not safe yet. The Azari will realize something's happening once they investigate that explosion and find nothing. As if on cue, Sunwoo's console beeped. Sir, 2 Azari cruisers have broken off from the outpost. They're beginning a search pattern. They suspect something, Jian observed. But they don't know what to look for, Taeyong replied. Our stealth technology should keep the shuttle hidden long enough for it to reach us. The minutes ticked by as the shuttle raced toward the Dauntless, while the Azari ships expanded their search. So far, they were looking in the wrong direction, focusing on the asteroid field where the explosion had occurred. Shuttle requesting docking clearance, Do-hyun announced finally. Granted. Have medical teams standing by in the docking bay, Taeyong ordered. He turned to Navigator Hyunjin. As soon as they're aboard, set course for the edge of the system. Maximum speed. Yes, Captain. Taeyong left the bridge, heading to the docking bay to meet the rescue team. When he arrived, the stealth shuttle had just landed. The docking bay doors closed behind it, and medical teams rushed forward as the shuttle's hatch opened. Minjae emerged first, helping a wounded scientist. Behind him came his team, each assisting survivors from the outpost. The rescued personnel looked exhausted and traumatized, some with visible injuries. Report, Taeyong said as Minjae approached. Mission accomplished, sir. 23 survivors extracted, most of the science team and a few security personnel. The Azari hit the outpost without warning about 14 hours ago. They were taking prisoners for questioning when we arrived. Casualties? Minjae's expression darkened. At least 15 dead that we saw, and the Azari had already removed some personnel before we got there. Do we know why they attacked? One of the senior scientists might have answers. Dr. Hanaseo. She was in charge of the research station. Taeyong nodded. Get the wounded to medical. I'll speak with Dr. Seo as soon as she's been treated. Back on the bridge, Taeyong found the situation had deteriorated. Captain, the Azari ships have changed search pattern, Jian reported urgently. They're heading this way. Have they detected us? I don't think so. Their approach suggests a standard search grid, but they'll be within sensor range in 6 minutes. Time to docking bay doors closing? Taeyong asked. 30 seconds ago, sir. Then let's go. Navigator, set course for the edge of the system, maximum speed. We need to put some distance between us and those cruisers. The Dauntless came to life, its powerful engines pushing it away from the outpost and the searching Azari ships. For several tense minutes, they watched the tactical display, waiting to see if they had been detected. Azari ships continuing on search pattern, Sun Wu reported finally. No pursuit indicated. I think we're clear, sir, Taeyong nodded. Maintain course and speed. I want to be well away from here before we change direction. He turned to Jian. I'll be in medical speaking with the survivors. You have the bridge. In the medical bay, doctors and nurses worked quickly to treat the wounded. Some had burns, others had broken bones or cuts. All looked exhausted. Taeyong found Dr. Hanaseo sitting on the edge of a bed while a nurse treated a cut on her forehead. She was a small woman in her 50s with short gray hair and intense eyes that showed intelligence despite her obvious fatigue. Dr. Seo, I'm Captain Taeyong Kim. When you're ready, I need to know what happened at the outpost. Dr. Seo nodded. I'm ready now, Captain. My people need me to tell you everything. She waited for the nurse to finish before continuing. The Azari attacked without warning. They disabled our communications first, then boarded with troops. They were looking for something specific. What were they looking for? Our research data. She met his gaze directly. Captain, we weren't just a scientific outpost. We were monitoring Azari fleet movements and testing a new long-range scanning technology. We detected something 3 days ago. Something the Azari didn't want us to see. What did you find? A massive fleet gathering. Much larger than anything our intelligence services predicted. Hundreds of ships, including at least 20 dreadnoughts. They're preparing for war, Captain. Full-scale invasion of human space. Taeyong felt a chill run down his spine. Do you know when? Soon, very soon. The fleet is nearly assembled. Days, not weeks. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small data chip. I managed to save this before they took the main systems. It contains all our scan data, including fleet positions and ship classifications. Taeyong took the chip carefully. This could save millions of lives, Doctor. That's why I protected it. But Captain, there's more. The Azari aren't acting alone. We detected communications using quantum encryption that isn't Azari technology. They've made an alliance with someone and we don't know who. This news was even more disturbing. The Azari were dangerous enough on their own. With advanced allies, they could be nearly unstoppable. Thank you, Doctor. Get some rest. You're safe now. Taeyong left the medical bay, the data chip clutched in his hand. The mission had just become far more urgent. They needed to get this information back to Earth immediately. On the bridge, he found Jian waiting with more troubling news. Captain, we've detected a general alert being broadcast on all Azari military frequencies. They know someone infiltrated the outpost. They're ordering all ships to search for, and I quote, a disguised human vessel with military capabilities. How wide has the alert spread? It's being relayed through the entire sector. Every Azari ship will be looking for us within the hour. Taeyong handed the data chip to his first officer. Get this to engineering. I want the contents analyzed immediately. It contains data on the Azari fleet gathering. Sir, should we abort the mission? Head for human space? Taeyong considered the question carefully. Their cover was blown. The Azari were hunting them. The logical choice was to retreat with the valuable information they had already gathered, but retreating now would mean missing the opportunity to gather critical intelligence on the Dominator Station and the main Azari fleet. Information that could make the difference between survival and extinction for humanity if war came. No, he decided. We continue the mission. The data Dr. Seo provided confirms what we suspected. The Azari are planning an invasion. We need to know more. Their exact fleet composition, their command structure, their timetable. How do we do that with every Azari ship looking for us? We've lost the element of stealth, so we'll use the only advantage we have left. They don't know our full capabilities. Taeyong activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands, this is the captain. Our mission has changed. We are no longer operating as a covert intelligence vessel. From this point forward, the Dauntless will function as the warship it was designed to be. Hold position here. Taeyong ordered as the Dauntless approached the outer edge of the massive Azari fleet gathering. From their vantage point, hidden within a dense cluster of asteroids, they could observe the activity around the Dominator station without being immediately detected. The ship now appeared, from a distance, to be an Azari patrol cruiser. Engineer Yuna and her team had worked tirelessly to reconfigure the holographic projectors, using data from their scans of actual Azari vessels. The disguise wouldn't hold up to close inspection or direct communication, but it might allow them to gather the intelligence they needed. Status report, Taeyong said, looking around the bridge at his senior officers. Holographic disguise is stable, Engineer Yuna reported. Power draw is significant but manageable. We should be able to maintain it for approximately 12 hours before the emitters require cooling. Tactical? Sunwoo checked her readings. Sensors are recording all Azari fleet movements and ship classifications. I'm detecting at least 30 dreadnoughts now, more than we initially estimated. Hundreds of cruisers and support vessels. This is the largest fleet gathering I've ever seen. Communications? Do-hyun looked up from his station. Monitoring all Azari channels. They're using encrypted frequencies for most communications, but I'm running decryption algorithms, already breaking through some of the simpler codes. Navigator? Hyunjin gestured to the tactical display. I've plotted several escape routes, Captain. If we're detected, our best option would be to make a run for this nearby nebula. The radiation would mask our signature and disrupt their targeting systems. Taeyong nodded, satisfied with his cruise preparations.
First officer, what's the status of our passengers?
The refugees and outpost survivors are secure in the guest quarters, Jian reported. Dr. Seo has been helpful in keeping everyone calm. Medical reports that all wounded are stable. Good. Taeyong studied the massive display of Azari ships on the main view screen. Now we wait and watch. Record everything. Every ship class, every movement pattern, every communication frequency. Earth needs to know exactly what they're facing. For several hours, the Dauntless maintained its position, gathering critical intelligence on the Azari fleet. The data they collected painted an increasingly grim picture. The invasion force was even larger than their worst estimates, and it appeared to be in the final stages of preparation. Captain, Do-hyun called suddenly, I've broken through one of their command frequencies. Listen to this. He put the transmission on the bridge speakers. The clicking, harsh language of the Azari filled the room, automatically translated by the ship's computer. All fleet commanders, final position assignments have been transmitted. Invasion countdown initiates in 6 hours. Acknowledge receipt of jump coordinates. Taeyong felt his blood run cold. 6 hours. Not 48. He turned to Jion. We need to warn Earth now. Prepare a burst transmission with all the data we've gathered. Sir, Sunwoo broke in, a standard transmission will be detected by the Azari. They'll know exactly where we are. Then we'll need to move first. Taeyong made a quick decision. Navigator, plot a course to the edge of the system. Maximum speed once we clear the asteroid field. Communications, prepare the data burst for transmission as soon as we reach a safe distance. Captain, Sunwoo said urgently. 3 Azari patrol ships are changing course. They're heading toward our position. Have they detected us? I don't think so. Appears to be a routine patrol route. But they'll pass within visual range in approximately 6 minutes. Taeyong weighed his options. If they moved now, they risked drawing attention. If they stayed, the patrol might spot discrepancies in their disguise. Hold position, he decided. Power down all non-essential systems. Minimize our signature. Let's see if they pass by without noticing us. The bridge fell silent as the crew watched the approaching Azari ships on the tactical display. 3 sleek predatory vessels moving in perfect formation toward their hiding spot among the asteroids. They're scanning the asteroid field, Sunwoo reported quietly. Standard sweep pattern. Stay calm, Taeyong murmured. We look like one of them. Just another patrol ship. The minutes stretched painfully as the Azari patrol drew closer. 500 kilometers. 300. 100. They're hailing us, Do-hyun announced, tension evident in his voice. Taeyong made a split-second decision. No response. Power up engines. Navigator, get us out of here now. The Dauntless burst from its hiding place, startling the Azari patrol. For a crucial few seconds, the enemy ship seemed confused by the appearance of what looked like another Azari vessel, behaving erratically. They're powering weapons, Sunwoo reported. They've seen through our disguise. Evasive maneuvers, Taeyong ordered. Drop the holographic disguise and divert all power to engines and shields. The false image of an Azari cruiser flickered and vanished, revealing the sleek lines of the Dauntless. The ship accelerated rapidly, its advanced engines pushing it to speeds few vessels in the galaxy could match. "They're firing," Sunwoo called out. The ship shuddered as enemy weapons fire impacted against its shields. "Shield status?" Taeyong demanded. "Holding at 87%, Engineer Yuna reported. "But they're calling for reinforcements. I'm detecting multiple ships breaking formation from the main fleet. Can we outrun them?" Navigator Hunjin nodded confidently. "The Dauntless is faster than anything the Azari have. But we need to maintain this speed for at least 10 minutes to reach safe transmission distance." Another impact rocked the ship. "Return fire," Taeyong ordered. "Target their propulsion systems. We don't need to destroy them, just slow them down." The Dauntless fired back, its advanced weapon system striking with precision. One of the pursuing Azari ships fell back, its engines damaged. "One down, 2 still in pursuit," Sunwoo reported. "And I'm detecting 5 more vessels on an intercept course from the main fleet." "Time to transmission range?" Taeyong asked. 7 minutes at current speed, Hyunjin answered. Taeyong made another difficult decision. "We can't outrun them all. Communications, prepare the data burst for immediate transmission. Maximum compression. Tactical, prepare to launch countermeasures. We're going to create a window for our message to get through." As the crew rushed to follow his orders, Taeyong opened a ship-wide channel. "All hands, this is the captain. Secure for combat maneuvers. This is not a drill." Throughout the ship, crew members braced themselves, securing equipment and preparing damage control teams. In the guest quarters, the refugees and outpost survivors huddled together, fear evident on their faces as the ship shuddered under enemy fire. On the bridge, Taeyong watched as more Azari ships joined the pursuit. "Status of the data burst?" "Ready for transmission, sir," Do-hyun confirmed. "All intelligence data compressed and encrypted. I've added Dr. Seo's research data as well. Countermeasures ready," Sunwoo reported. "Navigator, on my mark, execute a hard turn to heading 340. Communications, transmit the moment our main antenna has a clear line to human space. Tactical, launch all countermeasures simultaneously." Taeyong took a deep breath. "Mark!" The Dauntless banked sharply, its inertial dampeners straining to compensate for the extreme maneuver. At the same moment, dozens of small devices launched from ports along the hull, each one designed to create sensor ghosts and communication disruption. "Countermeasures deployed," Sunwoo confirmed. "Transmitting now," Do-hyun announced, his fingers flying over his console. "Burst transmission complete. Message away, Captain." Taeyong allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. Whether or not they escaped, Earth would now have warning of the coming invasion. "Azari ships are confused by the countermeasures," Sunwoo reported with a hint of triumph. "Their formation is breaking up as they chase sensor ghosts." "Did they detect our transmission?" Taeyong asked. Do-hyun checked his readings. Impossible to be certain, but the countermeasures appear to have masked it successfully. "Good. Now let's get ourselves home. Navigator, set course for the nebula. We'll use it to cover our escape." As the Dauntless raced toward the distant nebula, the pursuing Azari ships began to regroup. Their initial confusion over, they were now coordinating their efforts more effectively. "They're forming a pursuit net," Sunwoo warned. "Trying to box us in." "Push the engines to maximum," Taeyong ordered. "We need to reach the nebula before they can complete their formation." The ship surged forward, its advanced engines glowing bright as they generated more power than should have been possible for a vessel of its size. The gap between the Dauntless and its pursuers began to widen. "We're going to make it," Jian said, hope in her voice. "New contacts," Sunwoo called out suddenly. "Multiple ships directly ahead. They've cut off our route to the nebula." On the main view screen, a group of Azari heavy cruisers appeared, moving to intercept. The Dauntless was caught between 2 enemy forces with nowhere to run. "Options?" Taeyong demanded, looking at his officers. Navigator Hyunjin studied her charts frantically. "There's a dense asteroid field to port. If we can reach it, we might be able to lose them." "Too risky at this speed," Engineer Yuna cautioned. "We'd need to slow down considerably to navigate safely." "And if we slow down, they'll catch us," Jian finished. Taeyong made yet another difficult choice. "Security Chief, prepare boarding defense teams." "Damage report," Taeyong called out as the Dauntless sped away from the Azari command station. "Not good, Captain," Engineer Yuna replied, her fingers flying over her console. "Engines operating at 18% efficiency and dropping," Hull breaches on decks 4 and 6. Life support stable, but backup systems are offline. Weapons. Primary weapon systems are down, Tactical Officer Sunwoo reported. Secondary systems at 40% capacity. Shields holding at 30% but weakening. Taeyong took in the information grimly. The Dauntless had accomplished its mission. The intelligence data had been transmitted to Earth, but the ship itself was in terrible shape. Navigator, what's our position? Hyunjin checked her charts. We're still deep in Azari territory, Captain. At current speed, it will take us approximately 72 hours to reach the border of human space. And the Azari pursuit, Sunwoo studied her tactical display. Multiple ships in pursuit. They're faster than us in our current condition. Estimated intercept in 23 minutes. Not nearly enough time to make repairs or come up with a new strategy. The Dauntless couldn't outrun its pursuers, and it couldn't outfight them in its damaged state. Taeyong made a difficult decision. Navigator, change course. Head for the Sirius Nebula. Hyunjin looked surprised. Sir, the nebula is highly radioactive. It would mask our signature from Azari sensors, but our radiation shielding is damaged. We'd be exposed to dangerous levels. Do we have enough shielding to survive long enough to lose the Azari? Engineer Yuna considered the question. If we divert power from non-essential systems, we could boost the remaining radiation shields to give us approximately 2 hours inside the nebula. After that, radiation levels would become life-threatening. Then that's what we'll do, Taeyong decided. 2 hours should be enough to lose them. Communications, send a message to all decks. All personnel are to move to the central sections of the ship where radiation protection is strongest. As Navigator Hyunjin adjusted their course toward the distant nebula, Taeyong turned to his first officer. Jian, what's the status of our passengers? The refugees and outpost survivors are secure in the inner compartments, Jian reported. Dr. Seo is helping our medical team treat the wounded. Good, make sure they understand the situation. I want everyone prepared for what's coming. The Dauntless limped toward the nebula, its damaged engines struggling to maintain speed. Behind them, the Azari pursuit force drew steadily closer. 19 minutes to nebula boundary, Hyunjin announced. Azari ships will intercept in 18 minutes. 1 minute too late. Taeyong studied the tactical display, looking for any advantage they could use. Engineer, can we get any more power to the engines? Just for a short burst? Yuna shook her head. The system is already overtaxed, Captain. If we push harder, we risk complete engine failure. Then we need a distraction. Taeyong turned to tactical. Sunwoo, what countermeasures do we have left? 2 sensor decoys and 1 electromagnetic pulse generator, she replied. Not much, but it will have to do. Deploy them all on my mark, coordinated for maximum disruption. The minutes ticked by as the Dauntless raced for the nebula. The Azari ships closing the distance with each passing second. Azari lead vessels in weapons range, Sunwoo reported. They're charging weapons. Evasive maneuvers, Taeyong ordered. Deploy countermeasures now. The ship's last remaining defensive systems activated simultaneously. The sensor decoys launched, creating false images of the Dauntless heading in different directions, while the electromagnetic pulse generator created a wave of energy that temporarily disrupted Azari targeting systems. Countermeasures deployed, Sunwoo confirmed. Azari pursuit force is breaking formation, chasing the decoys. But not all of them, Jian noted, pointing to the tactical display where 3 Azari ships continued on their original course. They're still gaining, Navigator Hyunjin warned. Nebula boundary in 11 minutes. Intercept now estimated in 10 minutes and still not enough. Taeyong weighed their dwindling options. They needed more time, just a few more minutes to reach the safety of the nebula. Suddenly, Communications Officer Do-hyun straightened in his seat. Captain, I'm detecting a transmission on an UEF emergency frequency. Source? Taeyong asked, hope rising in his chest. It's the Valiant, sir. Light cruiser on patrol near the border. They've received our data transmission and are moving to assist. On the tactical display, a new icon appeared. A small but welcome sight. A human warship racing toward their position. Time to intercept? Taeyong asked. Navigator Hyunjin checked her calculations. The Valiant can reach us in 15 minutes at their current speed. Too long, Jian said. The Azari will catch us in 10. Then we need to buy more time, Taeyong decided. Tactical. Can we use the asteroid field to our port to slow the Azari pursuit? Sun Wu studied the sensor readings. If we skirt the edge of the field, we could force them to go around or risk damage to their ships. It might buy us a minute or two. Do it, Taeyong ordered. Navigator, adjust course. Bring us as close to those asteroids as you dare. The Dauntless changed direction slightly, heading toward a dense field of rocky debris. It was a dangerous maneuver in their damaged state, but they had no choice. Azari ships adjusting course to match, Sun Wu reported. Now, engineer, cut power to all non-essential systems, Taeyong commanded. Make them think we're more damaged than we are. Yuna nodded and began shutting down systems across the ship. The lights on the bridge dimmed and several display screens went dark. The ship appeared to be failing. Now drift toward the asteroid field, Taeyong ordered. Make it look like we've lost control. The Dauntless appeared to tumble slightly as it approached the asteroid field, giving the impression of a ship on its last legs. Azari pursuit is slowing, Sun Wu reported with a hint of satisfaction. They're being more cautious now. Good. The moment we pass the densest part of the field, restore power and make a run for the nebula. For several tense minutes, the Dauntless drifted through space, seemingly helpless. The Azari ships followed at a distance, wary of both the asteroids and what might be a trap. Passing the densest section of the field now, Navigator Hyunjin announced. Restore power, Taeyong ordered. Maximum speed toward the nebula. The ship's systems came back to life and its engines flared as it accelerated away from the asteroid field. Azari ships increasing speed to pursue, Sun Wu warned. But they've lost ground. New intercept estimate, 14 minutes. Nebula boundary in 9 minutes. We might make it, Jian said, hope in her voice. The Dauntless pushed forward, its damaged engines straining with the effort. The nebula loomed larger on their view screens, a swirling mass of colorful gases and deadly radiation that represented both danger and safety. 5 minutes to nebula boundary. Hyunjin counted down. Azari ships launching long-range missiles, Sun Wu reported. Impact in 3 minutes. Evasive maneuvers, Taeyong ordered. Use the remaining defensive systems to intercept if possible. The ship began to twist and turn, trying to throw off the incoming missiles while continuing its approach to the nebula. The few remaining point defense weapons fired, destroying 2 of the missiles, but more were coming. Brace for impact, Taeyong called out. The first missile struck the ship's aft section, rocking the entire vessel. Warning lights flashed across every console as new damage reports flooded in. Direct hit to engine section, Engineer Yuna reported. Engine efficiency down to 12%. We're losing speed. Another impact shook the ship. Hull breach on Deck 8, Security Chief Minjae reported from his station. Emergency containment holding, but barely. How long to the nebula? Taeyong demanded. 3 minutes at current speed, Navigator Hyunjin answered. But the Azari will intercept in 2, 1 minute short. Always 1 minute short. Taeyong refused to accept defeat after coming so far. Engineer, what systems can we shut down to give the engines one final boost? Everything non-essential to survival. Yuna worked frantically at her console. If we shut down life support on the outer decks, divert power from the remaining weapon systems and run on emergency lighting only, we might get enough for a 30-second burst of speed. Do it, Taeyong ordered, and route all available power to aft shields to protect the engines from further damage. Throughout the ship, systems went dark as power was diverted to the engines and aft shields. The bridge was illuminated only by the glow of essential control panels and the distant nebula on the view screen. Ready for power burst, Yuna reported. On your command, Captain. Taeyong watched the tactical display as the Azari ships closed in. Wait for it. Wait. He wanted the burst to come at the perfect moment when it would do the most good. Now! The Dauntless surged forward, its engines glowing bright as they consumed the last reserves of power. The sudden acceleration pushed the crew back in their seats despite the inertial dampeners. Nebula boundary in 40 seconds. Navigator Hyunjin called out. Azari intercept in 50 seconds, Sun Wu added. We're going to make it. Just as victory seemed within reach, the tactical display lit up with new warnings. New contacts, Sun Wu shouted. 5 Azari heavy cruisers directly ahead. They've been waiting for us. On the main view screen, the ships appeared, positioned directly between the Dauntless and the nebula. It was a trap,